NASA supporters on Friday held protests outside the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi in push for the removal of Ambassador Robert Godec. They waved placards with messages calling upon the United States envoy to respect NASA leader Raila Odinga. The youths set American flags on fire near the embassy's entrance. They said Godec's time as an envoy had elapsed and thus should leave the country. The lot cited the ambassador's recent call to Raila to recognize Uhuru Kenyatta's presidency. Last week, the ambassador, with 10 other envoys, asked the NASA brigade to recognize Uhuru's legitimacy before any dialogue can take place. Godec said the national conversation should move on to challenges facing Kenya and not the 2017 election politics. The election is finished and it is time the country moved forward by strengthening economic growth and development, he said. Raila, who has dismissed the call, is laying claim to the presidency, arguing that he was rigged out. Following in his footsteps in condemning Godec, the NRM youth told envoys to stop meddling with Kenya's politics. Godec is a U.S. citizen and he cannot purport to know our political dynamics better than we do, Evans Ochieng, a protester, said. He has no basis to determine how our leaders are supposed to conduct their politics. Ochieng said for America to be viewed as an impartial player in the Kenyan democratic space, Godec must publicly apologize to Kenyans and the people's President Raila Odinga. We have seen various ambassadors in this country and during their tenure they have never meddled in our civic and political processes. Just like our ambassadors in their countries respect their political space, so should they, Kennedy Nyanine said. The protests came barely a day after NASA MPs accused Godec of cutting deals with Jubilee in exchange for political support. They cited a stalled overpriced aircraft deal and the multi-billion shilling Mombasa-Nairobi road project as some of the projects Godec had expressed interest in. But Godec refuted the claims, describing them as mere allegations. There is no basis for those claims, he said, adding the comments by the diplomatic community asking NASA to recognize Uhuru as president were balanced and did not favor either the government or the opposition. Godec called for dialogue to resolve the present standoff. The op-ed from the diplomats had 3 broad points. The first was that the government had taken certain actions, shutting down the TV stations, not complying with court orders, deporting an opposition politician Miguna, that are not consistent with the Constitution and the rule of law. We have deep concerns about them, he said. The second point was that the opposition has also taken steps and actions which are not consistent with the Constitution and rule of law. We called on NASA to accept the election from 2017, which was endorsed and supported by the Supreme Court, he said, asking the coalition leaders to abide by the ruling on the October 26 election.